All right, it did not send me anything. Let's try again. Take all accounts offline. I swear I sent it here. Okay, I'll try again. Successfully emailed your token. Please check your spam folder. Okay. Let's check it. Draft, junk. Okay, beauty maker, beauty secrets, matchmaker, but no simple form. Come on. All right, let's try again. Maybe I gave them a bad email. I've been known to do such things. Oh yeah, I totally did. pdx.com.edu. Yep, typo. Okay. I don't think the token changes, but just in case it does. So this token over here is kind of the code that will, yeah, it looks like it's different. That will tell simple form where to send the data. So now I'm sure I probably got an email. Come on. Come on, come on. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. Well, I've done this before, so I'm going to cheat and find my old one. 340. So simple form. This is some data that I got. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. So this is the email that you will get. This is my ta-da, Julia Child moment. So you'll get an email. It'll say your API token is this. So you want to copy that number. And then in that code that they gave you that you pasted, see where it says API token. You want to replace that number with the number that you get in your email. And then if you look at the rest, it says you can read instructions here. You can view all the messages submitted here. So this submission, see this number matches this number here. So if I click on this, it'll show me like messages that have come through. So like if I send one right now, so let's go to my form. This one. Okay, so here's my form. I'll just say, this is my test for 10/20. Okay, fine. IP could not be found. It's a demo failure. Oh, well, it came through anyway, so it must just be it must just be because I'm local and I haven't pushed it up, but it came through. So you can use this as like a simple contact form, because the thing with forms on your site is like the data has to go somewhere, and it can be complicated when you have just like a simple HTML site to have a form, unless you're using some other service like MailChimp, which is like an email service, or Emma, but you're just kind of collecting newsletter data. So simple form is a way of having any kind of form you want, and being able to style it how you want it on your site. One thing to know is that it's not super secure. Like basically there's no login for this page. So it's hard to find this page because it's got this giant token string. So somebody would have to like type all these numbers and letters in the right sequence to get here. But you could get this URL out into the world accidentally and then people could see your data. So not super secure, but a great way to just like collect contact information. So that is the homework assignment, is just to like set up a contact field. So you could think about when you go through chapter 7, just build out your form as you're reading through it. So like this one, it just has like a text field called name. I could call this one, or called test. I could call it like first name. And then I could have another one called last name. And then I could have an email. And there's actually a type called email that will validate it for you, which is nice. So I could say email. You'll learn about labels. So you'll want to do a label for, and then this one will be first name. And you want the label to match the field. So I can say first name. And then same thing for last name. Each one will have a label so that you can visibly see it. And then this value for the button right now is test form. So I could say send contact info or whatever I wanted to put on the button. Right, so let's see what this looks like now. Whoops. Oh, I know why that, I know why that happened. So now I'm starting to get a messy form, and that section of the book will kind of help you format stuff a little better. So there's my last name, there's my email. Yeah, so you'll build out a form like this. I'm just gonna like put breaks in between. Email. And then you can use CSS to style this and make it look way cooler than it does right now. So that's the homework, is making a form and using get simple form to actually get data. So I realized why mine went wrong is that if I was to use my eyeballs, I would have read the redirect to is optional. The form will redirect to the refer on submission. So I have this redirect to right here that is set up as, it's an example so that I know how to set this up. But I need to change this. So right now it says the complete return URL, e.g. blah, 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 right? So if I want to redirect somebody, I actually need to say, make a new thing that says new file. I'll call it contact thank you.html. And then I'll just make a really quick, oops. Thanks for and then contact. So that becomes contact thank you.html. And I think this should work. Let's check it out. So refresh. Blah, blah, blah at blah. Let's see if the validation works. Okay. Oh, so it does have to be the absolute link. So here's what, so right now I just have contact thank you, but I actually need it to be my whole home site URL. So that would be alanacodes.github.io/. So it's the same directory as my index page. So I know it's just going to be /contact-thank you. This won't work till I push it up live. So let's just do that real quick. I will just go here. Here's my 2 new files. And I'm just going to say added form, commit to master. And then, so now these are committed locally. So Git knows about them locally. And then now I'm going to push to origin. I might get an error because I had a bunch of other changes. Nope, it's fine. Good. So now if I go to alanacodes.github.io, hopefully, I thought I added a contact link. I must not have saved the page. So I can just go to contact.html, or maybe it's just not there yet. I forgot GitHub takes a minute. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, live demos. Come on, go, be live. Refresh. Come on. Sometimes if you go to incognito, it'll like break the cache. Nope. It's like when you move your mouse around, that's what the refreshing helps with. It's like, go faster. There we go. Yay. Okay, so here's my contact form, my lovely contact form. And let's see if the email, oh, we decided the validation probably doesn't work, huh? Okay, cool. So the validation that's built into the browser says you have to include an @ symbol, and it has to, yeah, it just needs an @ symbol, I guess. So you could say to @ and that would probably pass, but better than nothing. Oh, cool. Oh, and a dot, to @ dot. Oh, okay, fine, that's good. Email @ email.com. Too many ats. There we go. Okay, so now it goes to that contact-thank you page. Alrighty. I want to get going on these this pair stuff. So let me talk about Googling a little bit. So it's kind of like it's an art form when it comes to code. But here's some like advice. If you're looking for an example of something, like some way to hover or like an accordion, let's look for like a something on CodePen. So CodePen has lots of sample code. So you can say CodePen as the first thing that you're searching for. And then let's look for something like expanding div. Sounds good. So if I click on this, I should get a bunch of CodePens. So full screen expanding div, height div, expandable div drawer. That sounds cool. So let's take a look at what we get here. So things to look out for. First, you want to see if it's anything like what you want. So if you just kind of get the code out of the way, then you can try it out. Okay. Okay, cool. So what this has is this little button that twirls, which is pretty awesome. And it expands this box below. So I'm like, yeah, totally want to use that. So things to look out for does this say CSS or does it say SCSS? If it says SCSS, then this little arrow is going to help you out. We're not using SCSS in this class. It's a type of CSS that requires a compiler, and we've got enough on our plate. So the good news is that this CodePen has a built-in compiler in it. So I'll try to find one, but basically it says like compile to regular CSS or something like that. So watch out for that. And then over here on the JavaScript side, this $ parentheses. If you see this, it means jQuery. And I want to do breakouts, and then I'll do a jQuery demo a bit later. But jQuery, basically $ parentheses, it means jQuery, which means you'll need to import a jQuery library. So for now, I'd say just be aware of that. I'll show the demo later. But if it says, it'll say something like, doesn't recognize $ if you try to get this working in your local machine. So what you do then is you would, this is definitely where I would try to get this working in a separate file. So I would just like grab the HTML, because like the first step is you kind of want this to work on your own machine. Oops, let's I'm gonna save this as an HTML file first. I'll just put it in demo. I'm going to call it twirly box expand.html. And then usually like I'll just try to get it all working in one file. So this is the one time where it's okay to just put your style in this page. So I'm going to grab the HTML. I'm going to go back and grab the CSS. And the way you put CSS in your page is you have like an opening and closing style file. It should be in the header. And then you just paste in the CSS. So you can actually like load everything up into one page if it's just in this style tag. So it's got to have a opening and closing tag, but that will actually like add style to your page. And then the last thing is the JavaScript. So JavaScript requires that it's in a script tag so that the browser knows that it's script like JavaScript and not HTML. And so the script tag, you can just type script, and then Emmett will give you a nice little opening and closing script tag, and then you can paste it in. And then, like I said, this needs jQuery. I'll just do this just so I can show you guys. So to find jQuery, you want to say like jQuery min, or like jQuery code link. And that should take you to a website. Code.jquery.com is kind of the place to go. And then once you're at this page, this top one, you want to either get the uncompressed or the minified. This one is, these two are the same. It's just this one is like shrunk down. It like like line breaks. So you want to copy this script, which is basically a link to this JavaScript file. So that's how you get jQuery working, and you want it to be above this script that you're pasting in. So now I've stolen all the code and I've added jQuery so it won't complain to me. So let's try this and see if it will work on my machine. And then once I do that, I can kind of like, I know, okay, I have it working locally and it hasn't messed up my project. Are you gonna go or what? Maybe it's not gonna go. Okay, not that one. All right, I'll just stop and start. Stop. Start. Okay, so let's see if I was able to copy it. Okay. Okay, so it's working locally. So if you get to this point and it's not working, just shoot me an email and send me a link. Just put it like somewhere up, maybe just like make a folder called code samples or something, put it up on the site, and I can help you figure out if there's some other library missing or just something amiss. But then, okay, beyond that, sorry for Google Googling, I got off track again. When you're Googling stuff, W3C is a good one. It'll always bring up the W3 schools as the first one. So you might be like something like a sticky footer, sticky header, sticky footer. We'll look for sticky header. And that's when like the code, your header like sticks to the top of the page. And let's see. So this one is giving me mostly W3 schools. But let's say if I just typed, what else would I look for? Like, I could say like, you always want to say either CSS or HTML or both. You could say nav that stays on top of page. You really can use pretty natural language. And so as long as I say CSS or HTML, it'll kind of know that I'm looking for code examples. So W3 Schools is your friend. Stack Overflow, not so much your friend right now. If you do click on Stack Overflow, I would recommend scrolling to the bottom, because what happens is it's basically people ask questions and then people respond with answers, and they're very opinionated and everybody says that their way is best. It gets really confusing. So I would say try to avoid it, but CSS tips is CSS Tricks is a great website. MDN, Mozilla Developer Network, is great. Free Code Camp is great. Yeah, so here's CSS Tricks. So let's go to Sticky Smooth Active Nav. Sounds pretty sexy. Usually they have pretty good code demos of what the code does, and then how to write the code. So let's take a look at this one. And you know, the other thing about that I wanted to just say about code in general, it's really messy. If you make code and it's broken, don't worry about it. Like, just like try to figure out why it's broken. Just play around with it. It's there's no loss, right? Like, we're learning, we're making messes, we're making things slightly less broken than, you know, more broken than we want them to be, but like moving forward, making them less broken as we go. So this one, I want to like open this more. So this is in a code pen. That's pretty cool. It's letting me open it. Maybe I can. All right, I might have to just open on CodePen. So let's move this guy up. So it looks like it's a cool side nav. So slow. That slides up. So this is kind of awesome. I will put it somewhere. And this is, so let's take a look at it. A lot of you are doing like full, like a single page scroll. This might be a really good nav to incorporate so that you can jump from section to section. I actually really like this code. So it has pretty basic HTML, just a nav with a bunch of LIs. And then the body, it's using CSS grid. Let's see, and then in the script, so see there's no $sign in here. So you know that this is just, like if there's no $sign, it's pretty safe to assume that it's just JavaScript and you don't need any other libraries. And you can kind of like JavaScript, even though it looks weird, it is kind of like regular like English language. So you can say, okay, well, let these main nav links in my document, I don't know, maybe this is crazy. Select anything that's nav LIA, or select the anchor tag that's in a list item that's in an unordered list that's in the nav. And then my main section, let it be a section that's inside of main. But okay, so let's say you have this code and you're like, I have no idea what the heck it's doing. What I do know from looking at the HTML is that I have a section with an ID of section 1. And then in the nav, if I go up here, my link is going to pound section -1. So it's probably safe to assume if I fork this and I change, let's see. Like, this is how I would play around with it. Maybe is like, okay, well, if I change section 7 here to fruit bat, okay, and then I go to my section 7 HTML and I say, okay, well, the ID is, oh my gosh, it's so, this section actually, it's about fruit bats. And then my header, so now my ID should match. And then I want my header to be, whoa. Fruit bats are great. So I can like modify it how I want. And now, I forgot to change the text here, but this link now I think will take me to, yeah, down on the bottom, you can see if I click on section 7 now, it'll take me to fruit bats are great. So you can kind of play with the code and just try to understand what's going on. Way too much talking. I've talked for an hour. Okay, so my recommendations are just like talk to each other about what you're working on. Talk to each other about like things that you don't know how you're going to code, and then spend some time just like Googling together and trying to find code that does what you're looking for. Mess around with it, break it, figure out if it's going to work. Or conversely, like just talk about the structure of your page, how you're going to code it, play around with like how you're going to get the margins right, like get things placed how you want. Just help each other out. This is like something that I wanted to incorporate, and then every term it feels like I have so much to teach you, but you guys already actually know, like, because it's just Googling. I swear to God, it's just like all web development is Googling and fighting with code and trying to understand it. And that's not really something that I can lecture into you. It's actually the worst way to learn how to code. So I need to stop talking. Okay, so I've unshared. I'm gonna make some breakout rooms and I'm just gonna do this randomly. So here you go. Oh, except for, yeah, I'm just gonna set you up. Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering if you could maybe put some of the links that you were showing us into the chat or something.
Yeah, so this one is the awesome nav thing I just found. What were the other ones? There was that, oh, the cool box thingy, this one. Oh, that's not it. That's my version of it. There it is. Okay, and then when you're looking through CodePen, watch out for that if it says SCSS. This is the expandy box thingy. I think that was it, right? There was that. Oh yeah, and then the CSS tricks for that. So it probably goes through the code pen and explains it better. So CSS tricks article, or what did I call it? Awesome nav thingy. And I would recommend adding, creating a CodePen account so that you can fork these, and it'll fork just like in GitHub. it makes a copy of it so that you can have it in your own directory. It's like kind of like favoring it or more like adding it to your like collection, like in YouTube or something. Okay, so here I go. I'm gonna do 3 per room. Oh, now I have to do math. Okay, I see. 4 per room, 3 to 4 per room. I'll do that. Okay. Da, da, da. Make sure this looks okay. Okay, and also just have fun and talk to each other. Open all rooms. Okay, great. So I'm just making sure that Grace and Kai and Sean are in 3-person room. Moved. Okay, here we go. Oh, lame. Kai. Oh yeah, okay.
Sorry, I look like a mess right now. I'm still in bed.
Resume. Okay, so fonts. Share screen. All right. Okay, so fonts.adobe.com/typekit. If I like look for, get out of my way. I don't know. I'll look for Bell. I'll just, okay, cool. I will look at Belda. The licensing is cleared. Okay. Are you gonna give me more things on my page? You gonna make me stare at a blank page? Okay. Oh. Okay. So if I like activate, I'll do build a norm light. There's this little code button. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. No, go away. Okay, there's a little code button. If I click on it, there should be a way. Oh, I guess they want you to like give them the link so you can create a new project. And let's see, can I just click this one? This project includes, oh, I found, oh, okay. So Typekit has Futura PT. So I just said that Futura has a license. Adobe has a PT version. So you can use that one. If I save, so it tells me how to add. So this will go in the head of your document of each file that you want to use the font. You'll want to put this within the opening and closing head. And then you add this to your CSS file. And so once this is in your file, so we'll add it real quick. So I'll add it to Sean's. Okay, so I have only one file, but if I had 4, I would add this to the top, and then and you want to add it before your style sheet. So you always want to think about that things load linearly. So if you're making references to that font in your style sheet, you want to make sure that it's loaded before it gets to your style sheet. And then I'm going to grab this. And so this is how I'm going to define. So I kind of like to put it up at the top of the page in like comments, just to like have it here. So in CSS, you can do a comment, which basically makes the code not active, but it keeps it in your file. So it's / and then you close it with an */ There is a cool feature of VS Code that if you select the code that you want to comment out, you can hit Command / on a Mac, or if you're on a PC, it's Control / that's how you can kind of comment out your code. So if something's not working, you can be like, is it this line? And then comment it out, try it out on your page, see if that's it. And then you can like uncomment it out, I think, by doing the same thing. Yeah, Command / we'll take it back. Okay, so now I have Belda normal. I wanna use this in like my body, like the whole website. So I'm gonna take that font family and apply it to my body. So I'm gonna say body equals, or body, curly brackets, and then I'll say for my font family, make it Belda normal. And then let's see if that actually worked. Yeah, that looks like Belda normal. Yeah. So here's my trick. Usually you want the second font to look really similar to the first font. So you want it to be like, if it's a really bold font, you want to have like impact or something like that, or Arial. I think Arial Black is built in. But in this case, I want to make sure that that's actually loading Belda normal. So I'm going to say, if it's not working, give me cursive. And you can actually see this with really heavy fonts that are like, that take a while to load. You'll see it in cursive first, and then it'll like be Belda. So this looks like it's definitely Belda. And the other way to check is just to get rid of Belda. And then there you go. That's definitely not Belda. So that's typekit fonts. But guess what? You can also have local fonts. Who the heck did I just show local? It wasn't Ashlyn. Oh my gosh, was it Cameron? Who did I show how to do fonts yesterday? Are you here? I wonder if it was in the afternoon class. Let me think for a second. Wow, I completely forgot who I showed. All right, let's start it over from scratch then. So let's do a local font. I'm gonna do it in Sean's. So for our H1, let's use some crazy local font. So I'm gonna go to my fonts. They are in, where are they? Documents, fonts. Another tip is that if you have a font loaded locally that you're using on your site, you're gonna wanna decommission it. So if you're using like a font suitcase or something, you want to throw it in a folder. Like I just have one called font hider for fonts that I want to disconnect. But the other thing is, like, let's say you have one installed, like, let's see. Oh, Babass is what I used. Didgeridoodles, that sounds exciting. Let's put our, okay, cool. Let's put our header font in Didgeridoodles. So I would recommend that if you have it installed locally, so let's install Didgeridoodles, that you go to if you're using Fontbook to manage your fonts, you can go to that font, Didgeridoodles, and if you right click, I believe, yeah, so if you right click, you can say disable, and then you can really make sure, because what happens is your browser will first look for fonts that you're like, if you're saying, okay, look for fonts here, it'll look for them there. But if it can't find them, if something is wrong, like if you don't have a link to Google Fonts, or if there's a typo somewhere, it'll look on your machine. So if you have Didgeridoodle installed, then the website will look fine. But if you don't have Didgeridoodle installed, it won't look okay. So this is how you can really test this. Okay, so I am gonna disable this because I really want to use Didgeridoodles. So you get your file. TTF and WOFF are the two best fonts to use. And I even recommend, if you have both of them, use both of them, because you can use multiple fonts. And then I'm gonna go to Sean's. Let me find Sean's. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to go back. Yes, you. Student code. Sean. Okay, so in his folder. Oh, by name. I'm going to make a folder called fonts. I just like to organize it that way. It's good to, the more files you get, the crazier it gets. So I'm going to make a new folder. I'll just open it so I can. Come on. Okay, so file, new folder. And I usually call mine fonts, lowercase. And then I'm going to pull this file in there. Didgeridoodle, and it's fine. Like, I would keep the uppercase, however the file is fine. I option dragged it so that it's not going to take it out of my main fonts folder. So it just drags a copy over. Uppercase is fine. You can leave it the way it is, just no spaces. So now that I have this here, this is when I Google, because I just want to grab the code from somewhere. So I'm going to say, what am I going to say? Web font local font file TTF. Let's see if that gets me anything. Lovel font file. Okay, so CSS tricks comes up. I like CSS tricks. It's a good. They're going to give some code that will help me. Basically, you're going to import it using this @fontface property, and you can use as many of these as you want. So let's see. Cool, perfect. So I'm going to grab this whole thing. And this is a little different than like other CSS styles. This is kind of how you're going to use it. So this is going to go at the top of your CSS file, and not related to anything yet. So I'm just going to stick these up here. Okay, so this is basically an import. So it says import this file. So is like here, import this stuff. So I don't have a WAF2. I can just delete that. I don't have a WAF even. I don't have any of these. So they're kind of telling you which browsers are which. I don't have an EOT. So I want to make sure I don't get rid of the source. And I don't have that. I just have a TTF. So I don't have this one either. Okay, so this, because of it was like a list of things separated by comma, just like all CSS, you want to make sure that the last, like after you finish your style, that you have a semicolon. So I want to change that. And then now I want to link to my file. So let's go to Sean. So I am in style, which is like the same directory as fonts. So if, let's say I had like a CSS directory, I would want to get out of the directory first and then go into the fonts directory. If that was the case, I'd have to say, get me out of here, and then go into fonts. But I don't have to get out of anywhere. I just want to go right into the fonts folder. And then, so I don't have any typos, I'm going to right click on the file name. And then I'm going to say, if I click on rename, it'll like let me like grab that file name. So I'm going to do a Command A to select everything, Command C to copy it. And then I'm going to like paste it in. So hopefully this works. Right now, the name of it is my web font. So I could actually like keep calling it that if I wanted to be annoying and not remember what font I'm using. I could say font family is, quote, my web font. And then I'll just put like an H1 up here. My website in, what's it called? Didgeridoodle. Yay. Let's go see what it looks like and see if I linked it right. Yay, it worked. What if it didn't work? Usually it's because you're linking to the wrong place. So ask yourself, where's my style file? Where's the font? Is it in the right directory from where I am? It's got to be like in the same place, you know, it's got to be like, you've got to link to it in the right way. So, and then also, is there that semicolon, and this font family where you're calling it, is that like, does it match? So let's just change this because that's annoying. And you can literally call it anything you want. I'm just going to call it Didgeridoodles. You can even have spaces in this one because it has a quote, so it'll be just fine. And so yeah, there's my H1. And then if I wanted to be really crazy, I could just like replace my body font with Didgeridoodles because that's awesome. And now, hooray, Didgeridoodles. So yeah, you can totally use any font file you want. They just have to be of those formats. So TTF or WOFF. The other one, there's like a WOF2, an SVG, and the EOT, but those don't work on all browsers. So TrueType and WOF will both work on all browsers. Shoo, cool. Are you all like drooling code brain from your mouths? My dogs are like, stop talking about code, Mom. How are the meetings? Talk to me. Someone talk to me. Were they helpful?
Yeah, at least our meeting went well. I met with Emery, and we actually had the same issue with
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, we weren't able to figure it out though, because none of the websites that we looked at had exactly the issue.
Okay. Well, now I kind of want to know what it is.
At least for me, like my header image keeps sliding off the side no matter how much padding or justify center I use.
Okay. Is it a header image that's like full width of the page?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but like it's pushed off the side and there's like a big gap.
Okay. All right, let me, oh wait, that's not the right folder. I'm gonna refresh on your design, and then let's do a quick header image demo. So I demoed a little bit Jquery, and I kind of feel like it's too soon. Okay, so your header image, I'm gonna share Come on, click. Okay, sure. Okay, so your header image is, so you have a nav to the left,
Right.
and then your header image, and is it's sliding to the left or it's sliding?
It's sliding off the right side.
Okay, okay. You probably need an image, like to make the image 100% wide, because it's probably bigger than the space that it's contained in, like the image, the actual image size. So what'll happen is like, did I have starter code for you yet? I don't remember. Okay. So I'll try to break it how I think it's probably breaking for you. Sean, aren't you so happy that you get a free copy of Didgeridoodle font?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but the it's your nav is, why did I do the nav like that? The nav is always all the way to the left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know why I did that. Let's fix it. Okay, so you have a nav and then you have a section, main grid. Oh, I don't know why that's not. Main grid has a nav and a section. I'm gonna close stuff because I'm gonna get confused. Too many files. Okay, so this I'm gonna demo this because it's something that comes up a lot, and it's usually like a couple things. So I'll talk about. Oh my god, I'm so confused right now. Where did I go? Okay. Main grid, display flex, flex 20. Yeah, so I guess it's kind of happening to me because what's back? Oh, I see. I have a main grid. Got it. Okay. So your header is actually inside your main grid. Okay. So let's move that. So oh my god, I did it again. I'm like confusing Matt Davidson and David. They keep doing it. Okay, got it. Your head and put it in your main section. Okay. Close that. Okay, so a little closer. Now it's just all cray cray, but it's because this head, this grid, like the grid shouldn't start till down here. This is crazy. This is crazy. Class. Typing too quickly. Cut. Div. Whoa, come back. Div. Okay, so one thing that's happening, this like dumb margin, and I put this on the work for week 4 is to add a couple of things to make that not be broken. So one of them is to add body and then margin 0, because there's this annoying 8-pixel margin. So that'll get rid of that. And then the other annoying thing that's built into HTML is that if you have an H1, then it's gonna it's gonna like add margin that's gonna break like your header section. It's gonna add this like annoying margin. So if I right click on this, my header has this margin somewhere, margin display block, margin of 0.83 ems. So I'm going to go to my H1. I'll just put it here. I'll say, hey, H1, stop having a margin at all. Just get rid of your margin. But I still want it to be not flush to the top. Ooh, oh, can't type. So I'm going to use padding instead. So I'm going to say padding. I'll do it all around so it's like away from that left too. Okay, so those are really common things that happen with header. But now let's break the image. So do you have your image in line, like not in a background image?
Or I do have it set up as a background image.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I get rid of my background size and I make this like really big, 1600, then it's gonna like be larger than I want it to be. And I'll even have this kind of annoying, like you can scroll to the right for no reason. Is that kind of what's happening?
Yeah, mine also has that scroll to the right.
Okay. It might be, and do you have like a width on your header? Like, do you have like a,
Yeah.
okay. So to get a background image to place, it's almost always background size cover. That'll almost always fix any issue that you have. Let's see if my margin's still, yeah, it's still doing that. So this also might be, if you kind of go down the line, let's like try to go down the line here. There might be like margin on something that's making it push over like that.
Okay.
So nav, it's not nav. Main doesn't seem to be main. So you can kind of like figure out something is probably pushing it past that 100%. If you have the header as, like if I change my width to 100% VW, which is the viewport width, that's definitely going to push it over because it's saying, okay, my viewport width is 1600, but actually I've got that nav on the side. So I don't want it to be 100% viewport width. I only want it to be 100% of the space that it's in. That's kind of the difference between those two. So if it's 100% and then background size cover. Are you able to try any of those and are they working?
I already have the background size cover.
Okay.
So it might be padding somewhere, like you said.
Mm-hmm. It could also be, let's see, you can position your image within that. So like if your image is bigger than the space, like I'll make my image really tall. Cool. I can position that cat. So I can say there's a background position, but that doesn't really sound like what's happening. It sounds like it's more a left or right thing. And I can start out at like 50%, 50%. Semicolon. I believe it's the left, right first, and then top, bottom. So if I make it 30%, I think it'll move to the left. No, that didn't move to the left. 10%. Didn't move it at all. I always like have to do this for a while. That's top. Okay, so yeah. So it's not moving it left and right because it's background size cover. So it's just always like what it is, but if I get rid of that, it should move it around more. So what if it's like 30%? I don't know. All I know is the second one is top bottom. And it might be, anyway, yeah, but it does sound like something on your page is probably wider than 100, like wider than it can be. And that is ending up pushing everything over. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. And I'm gonna think about, it's 11:35. Oh, so, right, thank you, Sean. Yeah, so the websites were gonna be due this week and I've decided to push it out one more week. Yeah, so let's actually do that. I wanted to just talk about project 2 in case you are done, and at least to get you thinking about project 2. So yeah, so websites aren't due on Friday. I need to change the syllabus. This whole term, I was, you're welcome. This whole term, I was like, I had it all planned out. I was like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna stay on target. But remote learning, this class, like 341, is just different than I expected. And so I feel like we just need to shift a little, be able to work on multiple things. And then at the end, we'll have, 8 homeworks, 8 design prompts, some extra stuff if you like, yeah. So 8, and then 2 projects. And then the third project will be interactions that will roll into project 1 or 2. Or be a project 3 if you just really want to do the animated poster. So we're going to basically do project 1, do project 2, and then like add interactions. And those will be project 3. So project 2, let's go look at some examples. And you're always welcome to, if you have a project that you really want to work on, the learning outcomes for this class are really get used to professional tools, get used to get familiar enough with HTML and CSS that you can go out on your own, figure things out, know how to Google stuff, know how to like troubleshoot. And then the other one is like how to incorporate animations and interactions in your site. So as we go, we'll be learning a little bit of JavaScript and Jquery, which is a library that's built in JavaScript. And then CSS actually has a lot of really fun animation tools built in, other interactive stuff like video, audio. So all that stuff, like demos will come. And then as we progress, we'll be able to kind of like incorporate things back in. So when I back like so good with sounds and stuff, don't panic and feel like, oh my god, I have to like incorporate sound by Friday or next Friday or whatever. Just like know that, yeah, that's an idea that by the end of the term might be cool to try out. And now with like a little bit of Googling practice, you'll be able to like find, like you could say, how do I add interactive sound to my website? And that like W3 Schools, CSS Tricks, Free Code Camp, MDN, that like those are probably the best sites to look at. And that Stack Overflow, while is great, can be confusing. And so if you go there and you're like, oh my god, don't feel bad. It is very weird because it's a lot of random code and random thoughts of people from all over the world. Okay, so project 2, I'm going to pull up some examples and I'm going to talk about the main concept for project 2 is that you will take either an existing website that could use some design love of a business, and preferably a Portland business, not necessarily Portland business, but that you'll take that that project and do your own design spin on it, using a lot of their branding that's already built so that you're not going down the branding rabbit hole. If they have a decent, yes, my darling.
Dad's in a meeting and I'm hungry.
Okay, well, you know what? I am teaching right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's those crepes in there in the cupboard. There's a couple crepes. I'm sure there's yogurt too, Junie. There's lots of stuff. There's goldfish. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so you'll take whatever pieces that you can from that to help you save time, and design about 5 pages. So a new homepage for sure. And then a couple of the content pages, and like you just sort of want to pick things that are what is it, the like easy pickings, right? So let's look at some examples. And then last year I kind of added, with all the craziness of the world, I would also really think about this idea of like PSU really wants to be a community member. They have like a lot of emphasis on like community building. And so Portland nonprofits or small businesses or causes, things like that are a great thing to look into and consider redesigning, especially because the nonprofit sector often has to rely on like free labor for design. So that's like a great area to think about. And Candy Fredrickson, who was a student last year for her project too, did a redesign of the Rock and Roll Camp for Girls, and it was super fun project. I wonder if I can find it. Let me see. Okay, I can at least find the comps wires. Oh yeah, I just saw it the other day actually, on GitHub. Candy. There we go. Okay, so yeah, she did a couple of I'm gonna share my screen in a sec. Cool. Well, I might as well, she redid her homepage, so I might as well share that because it's pretty cool. So this is her her GitHub homepage. She got into it. She got super into it. So she's got like all of her projects, and she wants to get into web design and development. I think over the summer did her portfolio, and she's using GitHub Pages because it's free to host her portfolio. So let me see if I can find her. We'll just go to her GitHub. Hello. Project 1 template, maybe. Oh, project 2. Probably this one. No. Okay. Well, I'll show you her record player because I know I just saw that one. I think it's called VRP. VRP. And this would be more like a project 1, I guess. Yeah, so this was her project 1. And so she's got these, it's got audio. There we go. So you can click on different nav items and then it jumps you down to different pages. She's got that typewriter script that is on the resources page. Really loud. And she's got a listen page. And so she's got MP3 files. And so you can start the record player, it spins. So this is a SVG animation. And then these, if you click on them, will play the record. And on hover, they just have a, there's a black circle behind it. And when you hover over this box, the circle moves. So it looks like a record coming out. The MP3 code, she just stole from another one of my students' projects. Borrowed, not borrowed. Utilized. So yeah, so there's, if you want to look at the code, it's here. It's pretty fun. But yeah, a lot of this is like finding code and making it work and just the practice of figuring out how to steal code. I'm here to help you learn how to steal and make things work. So there's the code for it. And then here's the live site. Okay, so let's look at some other project twos. There is, see if I can find, okay, let's close out all of these crazy tabs. So winter 341. Okay. So one person did Sisters of the Road. Here's this link too. Let's see, we've seen some of these, so let's look at some that we haven't. Kelsey. Fluff is a candy that is, yeah, super crazy. So she, for project 2, redesigned the Fluff website. Fluff. Fancy Fairy Floss, Australia. So here's the original site. And so she took a lot of their design elements, a lot of their palette, a lot of, you know, she utilized a lot of their photos and branding because they already had a pretty strong brand. And she just wanted to play around with more animations. So, and you know, this one, it's like, it's more of like a remix. Already a pretty awesome website. So yeah, that is their Fluff. And then for hers, not that one, she made it a vertical scroll because she wanted to play with vertical scroll. And she's got a lot of floating elements that are just utilizing CSS animations. Yeah, and a lot of like transparent backgrounds. And she wanted this like this line going through. And so this was a really fun project because it brought up a lot of challenges that were really difficult. And so she had to do compromises, but in the end, she made this really fun, awesome project. Let's see. Elle did a portfolio piece. So if you, or a portfolio, so if you want to spend the time focusing on making a portfolio, that's totally fine. Yeah, she's got a bunch of different pages and she's using this like side nav, vertical rotating side nav. Looks like it didn't get finished. What did Yoshi do? All right, Gorge Friends is I think a nonprofit, yeah, for preserving the gorge. So she did a slideshow for the Gorge Friends. And then you'll notice some of these don't have all the pages. I swear things get like crazy after. I don't know what happens to projects after the term's over. They get half broken. Haley did a site for photographer Jordan Henline, which is actually now somewhere else. Henline, how do you sprint? Anyway, she ended up buying a domain name, and so it is now somewhere. Okay. Henline, Jordan J. Henline. Let's see if we can find it. Haley. Oh, dang. Okay, maybe this is it. Oh yeah, so this is the website she made for Jordan Henline. So another portfolio site, but for someone else. So it's got this great, it's using parallax where the background image is slightly larger than the space it's in, and it kind of sticks so that when you scroll up, it moves and it gives you like a sense of space. So yeah, there's that. That was project 2. And it wasn't all finished by project 2 because this is quite a large website, but she did have like 5 or 6 samples in the videography section, a few in photography. So she kind of worked out the main styles for each section. And then it has grown since then. So it started with that. There's Haley. Okay, so let's see what else. Close that. Jordan Pixie project. So yeah, this one, I think I might have shown you this one. This is Sarah Nason's project, doing a redesign of Pixie project. So
On it, it's 11:52. I'm not sure if you're watching.
Okay.
Just want to let you know.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go. A lot of you have classes, and I'll add the project 2 description up there. Okay, I will see you next week and talk to you over email. Yes, Matt demo. Will do. All right. Thank you, everybody. Okay, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oosh, okay.